My name is Ilya Kobe, and I'm from Kobe Real Estate Team at William Raveis. And today I'm doing this interview with Joel Fanjoy, who is at William Raveis. He's insurance agent, so he represents our insurance department. As you are aware, that at William Raveis we have also the mortgage department and the insurance department. So, Joel, thank you for joining me today in this interview. And I just wanted to give an update to my audience, to my past clients, sphere of influence, to all the people I know, so we can help as much as we can in this situation. I'm just gonna start with an introduction. So tell us about you and your business and your profession a little bit.
Sure. I've been in the insurance industry for approximately 13 years now. Started at Liberty Mutual. Went through some great training. Got very familiar with all the insurance products out there. Started networking with William Raveis agents to obviously service their clients and create a pipeline for my own business. And after a while, one of those agents, when an insurance opening came up, talked to me about it and see if I'd be interested in potentially coming and join the team. And that was about 2.5 years ago, and it was just a great career move for me. I love the people I work with. Great flow of business, and great opportunity to meet great clients, and really enjoyed the move. So that's kind of how I got here, just to be a resource and do what I can to help.
Yeah, thank you. Joel, if you don't mind, if you can tell us how you have been impacted by today's challenges. We know that everyone has been impacted by today's challenges, all the industries. And I just wanted to know about how the insurance industry has been impacted. And I know that you do also home insurance and auto insurance. So if you can please tell us about both of those.
Sure. I mean, insurance in the state of Massachusetts has been deemed an essential business, much like real estate has been. But that being said, I would say probably a majority of the insurance agents in the state are still working from home, or at the very least working in their agency and not seeing clients in person for the foreseeable future, which can present some challenges just from, me personally. I'm juggling 2 kids while working from home and trying to be there for everybody, which has led to, things that I might normally get done 8 to 5, getting done from 8 to midnight once the kids are in bed. So definitely some challenges there. I would say just in general, for anybody that you're looking for service for, if you might normally get an email response in 6 to 12 hours, for example, I'd bump that out to 12 to 24 just to let people tread a little bit of water. But I would say for the most part, you should still get good response. If you can't ever reach your agent, every insurance company has good customer service for the most part. Good to try and connect with them if you have an immediate need and you can't reach your agent right on the spot. So, but if you kind of look at the specifics, insurance carriers overall have really led the way, in my opinion, and taken a really proactive, aggressive, client-focused approach to kind of do what they can to ease the burden of times like this. So just about every carrier by now has actually, there's maybe one or two that are a little behind, but have come out with a program to offer a discount for the month of April and May on auto insurance of 15 to 20% for those months. I would suspect if the stay-at-home recommendation / order stays in effect longer, that carriers will extend that. The other thing that they've really done, a couple carriers have actually also waived some of the exclusions that a normal auto policy might have. A good example of that would be if you work in a restaurant as a regular server or bartender or hostess, host or hostess, you don't need any kind of business use on your automobile insurance. You're just driving to and from work, and then you work when you get there. A lot of restaurants have kind of, if they're still open and working, have gone to a takeout or delivery style of service that they might not have had before. So a waiter or waitress might be delivering food, which is typically an exclusion on an auto insurance policy. A couple carriers out there have actually said, we're going to waive that exclusion for the foreseeable future. That way they're still covered when they might not normally be, so they can still do what they can to make ends meet. So there's things like that that are happening. You always want to reach out to your agent for specifics. Never just assume your company is the one that did it. Always easier to find out about something in advance than after something bad happens and it's too late. Another thing that just about every carrier in Massachusetts has done is they are not going to cancel people for non-payment right now. Doesn't mean you will owe the money. They're going to waive the fees or the money, but they won't cancel you. Now, obviously, that can, if you're not careful, that can lead to a big chunk of money being due at the end of all this, and that might be tough for some people. So I would still recommend reaching out to an agent or a customer service team and really getting on some kind of payment plan where you might not be able to pay everything, but you pay what you can when you can. Again, carriers being incredibly flexible with payments. They don't want something like this to bury people or have any kind of long-term impact. The biggest one is if you have a cancellation for non-payment for auto or home insurance on your history, it can be difficult to get insurance going forward. So you really want to work with your carrier, work with your agent to kind of keep things as caught up as possible, or work with them on a payment plan, both now during the pandemic and also at the end, kind of get yourself caught up. And that's all things you can do and take care of and just be a little proactive about. So.
Yeah, Joel, just wanted to also want to talk about that as well, because a lot of people just reading online, and there you may find good information, but sometimes you find misinformation. And thank you for pointing that out, that the best advice would be that every client or every insurance out there should reach out to their insurance first, and then not just behave for the stuff they're reading online, because sometimes that information might be for a certain company might be the way they should be, but for another company might be different. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Every carrier is going to do things their own way. So you always want to reach out and make sure that what you're thinking is going to be the case for your own individual situation is the case with your carrier. You might call and find out, oh, I thought I had this delivery waiver for food and it wasn't there. You can always build that in. You can add it to your policy if you need to. So if something's not the way that you're hoping it is, you can still address it and get it fixed. But you never want to just assume that it's going to be fine. Because again, every company's going to do things differently. Everybody's going to do things, you might not have everything that you think you have if you just saw one article about one particular carrier. And the headlines can be a little dangerous. It's just, I've seen headlines, insurance companies giving millions of dollars back, insurance company waiving things. That's so general, but people could see it how it applies to them. Every individual case is going to be different. So always consult with your agent or an expert.
And the other thing is that you mentioned a little bit about deferring the payment, or this insurance company, they'll verify that these people are in fact in hardship, because they're not going to defer for somebody who is still working, right? Or somebody who is active working, or somebody who still get paid, correct?
No, they're actually not verifying any kind of hardship. So, I had somebody reach out and say, hey, I have a lot of rental properties. I'm not anticipating getting rent like I was. What can we do? Kind of talk to her about what she was comfortable with, and if what she thought would work for her. in that particular situation, she just said, hey, if I can just skip a month and then pay it back, pay both months next month. I called the carrier. They were absolutely fine with that. Didn't require any kind of verification. Again, there's a lot of flexibility there because they know they're not waiving the money. It's not like they're giving up their premium at some point. They're just willing to take the time and let people, pay what you got to pay. I mean, you can't work, you can't do anything without electricity. You can't do anything without water. Those are things you got to pay, you got to deal with. The insurance companies are good enough to realize in this instance that, we don't want to make this bad situation worse for somebody. Let's make sure that we're doing everything we can to support people in the state of Massachusetts in particular through a time like this. So no, you would think there'd be some kind of verification process or application, but no, if you reach out to your agent and you tell them you need help and they get figured out what you need, they can go to the company and they're not going to require any kind of documentation showing that you actually need that assistance.
Oh, that's
not a great idea to request it if you don't need it, because you're going to need to pay a bunch of money at some point. But it's pretty seamless. It's not like other programs where you need to apply for it. You can just get the help if you need it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a good information so far. And definitely, I would say that there are some positive outcome out of this, of this situation. I mean, we look at everything we don't think that everything is negative that is happening. I know that the fires has affected everyone, but also there are some positive outcomes. And do you see some positive outcomes as a result of this adjustment in your industry as well?
I mean, I would say in real estate in general, I think things are going to be a little more streamlined, a little more smooth. I mean, when you see things, how things can be run when you're put in a space where you have to streamline things and you have to be more flexible. I'm hoping the mass registry eases up on some of their normal restrictions where they require things face to face, and it sometimes can feel like people are jumping through hoops just to get a car registered or just to get something done at the registry. The longer this goes, which nobody's rooting for that. I mean, there's nobody wants their kids back in daycare more than I do. But the longer this goes, the more pressure there will be just from a functionality standpoint for the mass registry to streamline their process. So hopefully that can be some long-term good, because it just doesn't make sense to make accommodations and find out how well they really work and then go back to the old way just because people can leave their house again. So I'm hoping it does have some long-term positive impacts for the people of Massachusetts, because like I said, particularly if you're coming in from out of state and trying to register a car, that's not an easy process. That could be a lot easier in my experience from other states. So if things like that get cleaned up in the long run, that would be, I'm not saying this would all be worth it, but it would definitely be an unintended benefit.
Yeah, we see a lot of benefits even in our industry. The way now we do business, as we have moved to some of the even interviews that we're doing now, like it's more convenient, like doing interviews online. And we have interviewed even a buyer or a seller, or even someone. We have interviewed a client that he needs an insurance. We can be all of us online, and then we can share an interview with each other, which will be beneficiary for all the parties. And what would you say would be some of your recommendations so I can share with our clients and our sphere of influence and all our clients that we are working right now?
So we've touched on a couple of them. I mean, again, if you're in a financial bind, reach out to your agent, reach out to your carrier. They're going to be there to work with you. Don't just assume that you're going to be covered because you've heard all these things that online. Get it straight from the source. The one thing that I will kind of caution people about, I did a little bit of math on what this 15 to 20% really calculates out to for the 2 months.
Yeah.
And I would caution people about, you hear that 15 to 20%, that sounds like a big number, like you're going to save a bunch of money. But if you do the math, 15 to 20% on 2 months of premium, breaks out to about 2.5 to 3% on your overall premium for the year. So I would just caution people, if you've got a good carrier, you've got a good fit, you've had a good experience with that carrier, and you hear 15 to 20%, that shouldn't be just a big red flag to go out and start shopping around and looking for an alternative carrier, because you might find, where you save $50 in the year with that 15 to 20%, but then when that percentage goes up again, you're right back where you started. You might not have a carrier as comfortable with. They might go up. Your rates might go up on renewal. So I guess I'm cautioning people against seeing that 15 to 20% and feeling that impulse to go, oh, I'm going to go save that money right now. It could end up not being the best fit for you in the long term. So again, talk to your agent about it. They might have your individual situation might make sense to make a change, but don't just go out there and give up a good thing because you think you're going to save all this money. In the long run, it's not that big. So it's designed to help, but help with the current situation, not to use to try and save money going forward, because it might not be the best long-term solution for you.
Thank you, Joel. It's been a pleasure interviewing you today, and I think that you shared a lot of valuable information about our clients. And if someone has any questions or would like to get in touch with you, which will be the best way so they can reach out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I use my cell phone as my primary method of contact so people can reach me all the time. That number is 617-320-5687. My email address is just my first dot last name at Raveis, so joel.fanjoy@raveis.com. Yeah, happy to help, even if it's just general questions and not looking to make a move. Happy to offer any advice I might have. This is obviously a kind of evolving scenario, evolving situation as things do come up, as things do change. I'd obviously be happy to come back or provide information for you to provide to your clients going forward as well.
Yeah, that's very important, because we don't know when someone is going to listen to this interview, and just wanted to let everyone know that today is April 12, 2020. So as we monitoring this situation, with changes day by day and hour by hour, and some of the things that we are covering today might change in the future. Once again, thank you for being with us today. Stay safe, and I'll see you again with another interview in the future. Thanks a lot.
Good. Thank you so much, Ilya.
Thank you.
Bye.